Hi guys, hope you're doing well. And today we're discussing why is it so many expats decide to leave after making the big move to Thailand. It's a topic that I get a lot of comments on. But you're moving to a new country throws up all kinds of issues. And Thai culture is kind of an onion that has a lot of layers. And for the uninitiated or guys that throw it all in and come to live here permanently, can often run up against a few problems. So, yes, delayed culture shock. This is kind of different to normal culture shock. It takes a longer time. Thailand is, as I said, a complex culture. And you can have issues with face, issues dealing with your partner's family, cross-cultural relationships with your girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. And these can all manifest into kind of a hotbed of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, especially if you don't speak the language. And you can find yourself in that dip. And to a greater or lesser extent, it depends on your personality and how you process things. But a lot of guys end up in this dip after they've gone all in. This is the problem with delayed culture shock. And you can become a gnarly toad. You end up drinking too much, you end up Thai bashing, and a lot of guys leave. But also a lot of guys, because of the delayed time, have gone all in and they're still here. And you see them in Facebook groups, you see them on forums, or in bars, and some can't handle it, they leave, or they stay, remain, and if they don't get out of that dip, become gnarly toads. Thailand is a very collective society, and the family is a big thing here, and if you have a relationship with a Thai, they will be part of your life, and this puts a lot of pressure on the Thai partner, who are kind of pulled between the needs and expectations of the family and your problems or dealing with the culture, and kind of a pressure cooker. And I know a lot of couples that actually leave for that reason. It was too claustrophobic and they left back to their home countries. Now, yes, visas, another big factor. I've seen a lot of changes. It was very easy. Really too easy back in the day in the early 2000s, and the system was kind of abused a bit. I used to just do 30-day visa runs, and even when I got married, I'd just send off my passport and application form, no financials, to a consulate in north of England, in Hull, and I'd get, within 3 days, bang, I got another year. Well, I'd have to leave the country every 3 months, but it was very easy. And things have changed a lot. And I think the system was abused, and there was a kind of crime wave in Samui and the tourist areas, and I remember the big crackdown on the abuse of the system. But it's kind of gone to the situation now where a lot of guys are feeling unwelcome here. And this is mainly from retirees. And on top of that, we had the TM30, which was like you had to, even if you left the province for more than 24 hours, you had to contact immigration, which gnarled a lot of guys up, and I found it a bit odd. But there was kind of a shift, and there was a lot of talk about, the government not favouring Westerners and foreigners, and some guys left, didn't like it. I know guys that left for the Philippines, Vietnam, but now Vietnam has got issues. I mean, they're chucking people out. So when you get older, you want like a secure environment. And there are a lot of U-turns in policies made here and snap decisions, and guys that don't feel comfortable with that. So the visa situation is an issue. I mean, there is a general crackdown anyway. Long stay here is not easy, as easy as it was, let's say. Thailand does want to attract wealthier retirees or digital nomads, whoever wants to stay here. There's talk of a new 10-year visa where you have to buy Thai bonds, real estate, invest quite a lot here, and then you can get certain perks. So the shift is changing. It's changed a lot in the last 20 years, and some guys aren't happy with that, and as I said, leave. Yeah, the cost of living, if you were here before 2008, the heyday of cheap living in Thailand, where you could get a litre of diesel for 12 baht, a bowl of noodle for 15 baht. You could build a pretty big house for a couple of million baht. But the prices of the petrol skyrocketed after that time. There was a global economic crash. The pound has basically dropped. I was getting 72 baht, and then it went to 35 during COVID. And all that combined together with the strong Thai baht, made living here not as expensive as some home countries, but a lot more expensive, up to I would say 100% more, especially if you're from the UK. Your pension that you're getting each month is pretty much cut in half. And not only, yeah, you're getting, the exchange rate is cutting your pension in half, the costs here have gone up. So that combined with the visa situation, guys I know anyway have made the move. All right, different standards. Yes, this is quite a big one. A lot of people feel that the Thai education system isn't up to scratch, and the private schools in Bangkok and the bigger cities are way overpriced in my opinion. And a lot of people move back to the home countries to get free education, where they believe and probably are right that the education system is better. So just in the last video, Tanipa and her husband decided to move back to Germany to educate their son. So this is quite a big one, and can happen further down the line once you've done your research and you've had kids. The family decides to leave Thailand. There are other differing standards in terms of building. I get a lot of this on my property videos. I knew this was not the UK or Germany. I kind of get annoyed guys going on about it's not the same. Well, it's not the same, and it's different in the culture. The house in most cases comes second to the car. The car is kind of number one here in terms of showing your wealth and status, and the property is it's sort of secondary. And Thais will just lash up a garage without building regs. You will walk down Bangkok and you can't get past something because something's been built into the pavement. People can just set up a noodle shop and start selling noodle or selling their wares, and it's exciting. It's what gives Thailand its kind of excitement and charm. So it's a bit of give and take with the standards, I think. And as for the driving, you just have to accept it and try and work out your best way to stay alive when you're on the roads, because it is kind of some kamikaze stuff going on here. So quite a few things, but I would say education is the main one there for expats leaving Thailand. Right, this is one I get. I get a lot of moans about this. It doesn't bother me, but being a guest or feeling like you're a guest after you've piled in millions of baht, you had a family, you had kids. It's not the same in the West, where if you get married, you have kids, you get residency, citizenship. You will be treated the same as a tourist here, immigration or in the eyes of immigration, and Thailand itself. And Thailand is quite an insular country, and I don't mean that in a negative sense. I actually, they're proud of their country as a whole and their heritage and their history and culture. Unlike the West at the moment, where it's kind of fashionable to trounce on your own history and where you come from. So it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's a pain. You just go into immigration anyway. I mean, they can be very nice, but I always get sent to the photocopy shop for something. But I don't have a problem with it. But I know a lot of guys that do, and it's just another factor that maybe combined with other things can make people look elsewhere or even move back to their home country. But the only thing I do have an issue with is dual pricing. I don't agree with the concept of it. I think it's quite divisive. That's my only contention, really. All right, mate. And finally, and this is quite important to cover, is boredom, loneliness, and addiction. It doesn't get a lot of attention. And I met Brett, and a subscriber in Tesco's. We spoke for about 20 minutes, and he asked me how do I keep myself busy, and he was having issues with boredom and twiddling his thumbs, and it's more common than you think. And once that honeymoon period is over, you've done your traveling, you've seen a lot of the country. It could be a couple of years of doing that, and you settle down, and maybe in a rural area you don't speak the language that well, and all your mates are back home, your family are back home, you've got a lot of Thai family around you, but that comes up, it hits guys in the face. They feel like they're not sure what to do with themselves. I mean, this is a thing with retirement anyway, but I think it's compounded when you're away from your home country, and loneliness can kick in even when you're surrounded by a lot of family or Thai family. So it is an issue here, a bigger one than most people realise. And on top of that, if you do have addiction problems and you're either in that dip as I said in the delayed culture shock, yeah, feeling lonely, bored. You can kind of, yeah, if you're sort of partial to addiction problems, then you can spiral down. And if you've got all the other things we were talking about on top of you as well, it can be a perfect storm. And yeah, Thailand is a kind of place to lose it, if you want to. I mean, there's all sorts of things that will help you along the way. So it's quite an important one that if you are partial to or have addiction problems, you need to be aware of this. And yeah, I might leave some numbers in the description if you're having any issues. And anyway, yeah, that's all I got to say on it. I've made this video because I get a lot of questions in my Facebook page, actually. Is everything like it is on YouTube? And don't get me wrong, I love living here. It's a great place to live, but you do need to balance things out. And it's not a negative video, it might come across that way, but I'm trying to give brutally honest opinions so guys can see the good and maybe the not so good to make informed decisions. And these are on personal experiences and experiences of a lot of expats that I've met here. So I think yeah, I think it's quite an important video, to be honest. I've seen quite a lot of bullshit on YouTube about this type of subject, so hopefully it's useful to some of you out there. And yeah, anyone else with constructive comments, whack it down there if you've got experiences you'd like to share. And gnarly toads, you're welcome, but yeah, try and keep it humorous and constructive as much as possible. And I'd just like to mention, if you did like the cartoons that I put up, I was looking for pictures to put up in this video, and I came across an artist called Steph, I think is his pen name, and I sent him a message on Facebook and said, could I use a few of them in the video? And he said yes, and he's got a whole book of them. So if you're interested in that, I think they make a great gift. I'll leave his the link to the book down in the description as well. Phrase a day will return when I'm out and about. It makes sense that I do phrase a day when we can use a phrase that I've used. I've just been rabbiting away here, and so that will return. So I'm going to say stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.